Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to every man, Jack of you. Good afternoon to all in Sunbury. Good afternoon to one and all. This is a very own professional spoken English trainer from Learn English with KMD, a platform where learning English and speaking English is made much easier. Well, I'm back again. I'm live again. I'm sitting in front of you in flesh. I decided to go live for an hour today. I decided to go live for 60 minutes. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to one and all. Good afternoon to Brickman, Jacob. You. Good afternoon to all in Sunbury. How are you people doing today? I'm doing pretty well today. Thank you very much. Have you had a breakfast? 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 Well, I'm talking about the first meal of the day. What are you people waiting for? Come and join a large number. All you gotta do is, well, very simple job. You need to answer a very simple question of mine. How are you doing today? In order to get connected with me live today. Well, I decided to go live for an hour. All you people out there. Come on. Come and join me large number. Don't be chicken. Don't panic. Don't get nervous. Don't scared. Don't get scared. Come in, Lord, to speak grammatically correct English. Hello, hello, hello. This is a very own professional spoken English trainer from Learn English with KMD, a platform where learning English and speaking English is made much easier. I'm back again. I have decided to go live for an hour. I've decided to go live for 60 minutes. Have you all had your breakfast? Well, I'm talking about the first meal of the day. I keep telling my students, I keep telling you people time and again, I keep rating. I keep running it by you again. I keep running it by my students time and again that breakfast is the first meal of the day. Never ever skip your breakfast, because skipping breakfast is not a mistake, not a blunder. It's a Himalayan blunder. It's a serious mistake. It's a great mistake. It's a very, very big mistake. So never ever skip your breakfast, all you people out there. Start your day with breakfast. Start your day with breakfast, because breakfast is the first meal of the day. You start your day with breakfast, and I start my day with breakfast. People all over the planet, all over the globe, all over the world start the day with breakfast. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to one and all. Good afternoon to a great man, Jacob. You. Good afternoon to all in Sunbury. How are you people doing today? I'm doing pretty well, thank you very much. What about you? I'm the pink of Mary Hell, by the grace of God Almighty. What about you? I am as fit as a fiddle by the grace of God Almighty. I am in fine fettle by the grace of God Almighty. I'm doing well by the grace of God Almighty. I'm keeping up well by the grace of God Almighty. I'm the pink of Mary Hell by the grace of God Almighty. I am well and kicking by the grace of God Almighty. I'm hale and hearty by the grace of God Almighty. It's Sunday today, and I'm back again. I decided to go live for an hour. I've decided to go live for 60 minutes. All I gotta do is, well, very simple job. You need to answer a very simple question of mine. How are you people doing today? How are you people doing today? And the answer is, I'm doing pretty well. Thank you very much. What about you? What are you people waiting for? All you people out there. Come and join a large number. How are you people doing today? Have you all had a breakfast? Well, I'm your very own professional spoken English trainer from Learn English with KMD, a platform where learning English and speaking English is made much easier. I'm back again. I'm live again. Well, it's been more than 5 minutes, all the people out there, since I've come live. It's been more than 5 minutes. 5 minutes have gone by since I've come live. 55 minutes more to go. 55 minutes more to go, all the people out there. Have you all had your breakfast? Yes, sir, I have had my breakfast. No, sir, I haven't had my breakfast. Well, I'm talking about a breakfast, and I'm talking about the first meal of the day, and I'm talking about present perfect tense here. Have you had a breakfast? Well, The question is grammatically correct. Have you had a breakfast? Most of the students out there get confused when it comes to using have and had in the same sentence or have and had in the same question. Most of the students get confused. When it comes to present perfect tense, most of the students get confused and they talk through their hats. They talk through their hat. They get confused. Most of the students get confused. Have you had a breakfast? It's grammatically correct. And if I talk about the answer, most of the students get confused and they start talking through the hat. They end up giving the wrong answer. Yes, sir, I have my breakfast. Well, I have my breakfast is grammatically incorrect. I have my breakfast is grammatically wrong. I have my breakfast is grammatically inappropriate. You are telling me that you have your breakfast, but you have not had your breakfast. You have not taken your breakfast. You have not eaten your breakfast because had is missing in your answer or past participle is missing in your answer. What exactly is the most important quality of present perfect tense? If you talk about present perfect tense and if you talk about the formula of present perfect tense, the formula goes like this. IVUUD plus have plus past participle. We three form of verb. Third form of verb. He, she, it, Ronnie, Raju plus has plus past participle with three form of verb or third form of verb. So this is very, very important. I wanted people to answer my question something like this. Have you had a breakfast? And the answer is yes, sir. Or I have had my breakfast. No, sir. Or I haven't had my breakfast. Have you had your lunch? Yes, sir. Or I have had my lunch. No, sir. Or I haven't had my lunch. Have you had your supper? Yes, sir. Or I have had my supper. No, sir. I haven't had my supper. Remember, I am talking about breakfast, lunch, and supper. And I'm talking about 3 meals of the day. And I'm using present perfect tense to talk about them. I'm using present perfect tense to talk about them, and I'm using had, which happens to be the past participle of have in all 3 answers, in all 3 positive answers, in all 3 negative answers, in all 3 questions. Remember. Hello, 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 all you people out there. What are you waiting for? Come and join me, large number. Come and join me, large number. All you people out there, have you had your breakfast? Have you had a breakfast? Yes, sir, I have had my breakfast. No, sir, I haven't had my breakfast. Have you had your lunch? Yes, sir, I have had my lunch. No, sir, I haven't had my lunch. Have you had your supper? Yes, sir, I have had my supper. No, sir, I haven't had my supper. Come and join me, large number. What are you people waiting for? Come on. Come and join me, large number, and learn to speak grammatically correct English. Well, I keep telling the people time and again, English language has got 2 sides, like a one group recorded written English and spoken English. Am I here to talk about written English? Am I here to teach written English? Am I here to discuss written English? Well, the answer is big no. I'm not here to talk about written English. I'm not here to teach you written English. I'm not here to discuss written English because written English is not my cup of tea. I'm here to talk about spoken English. Yes, you heard me correct. I'm here to discuss spoken English. I'm here to teach you spoken English because spoken English is my forte. Spoken English is my cup of tea. Spoken English is my favorite subject. Spoken English is what I teach. Spoken English is what I've been teaching since 2000. Since 2000. Spoken English is what I've been teaching since 2000. We're in 2023. It's been more than 23 years. It's been more than 2 decades since I started teaching spoken English. Wow, that's wonderful. That's wonderful, isn't it? Yes, if you people are listening to me, if you people are listening to me with rapt attention, if you're all ears, I want people to send me thumbs up and get connected with me right away so that we can have a friendly confabulation for the next 15 minutes, because 10 minutes have gone by. I made it very clear at the beginning of my session that I've decided to go live for an hour. 15 minutes, 10 minutes have gone by, and 15 minutes more to go for me to go off stream. Is my voice audible, or are you people out there? If yes, please answer my question. Yes, sir, your voice is audible. No, sir, your voice is inaudible. Am I visible, all you people out there? If I'm real visible to you, I wanted people to answer my question right away. Yes, sir, you are visible. I'm afraid, sir, you are invisible. Remember, the meaning of the word visible is able to be seen, invisible, unable to be seen, audible, able to be heard, inaudible, unable to be heard. Is my voice audible? How do we spell the word audible? A-U-D-I-B-L-E. Is my voice audible? Yes, sir, your voice is audible. I'm afraid, sir, your voice is inaudible. Am I visible? Yes, sir, you are visible. I'm afraid, sir, you are invisible. Yes, here I'd like to talk about God Almighty who created this wonderful world. I like to talk about the Creator Himself. I like to talk about God Almighty. And I'm making a statement about God Almighty. The God Almighty is invisible yet omnipresent. God Almighty is invisible. He's not visible. He's not to be seen, yet omnipresent. What does omnipresent mean? Well, omnipresent means present everywhere. Yes, you heard me correct. God Almighty is invisible, yet omnipresent. Is present everywhere. He's present here. He's present there. He's present everywhere, because God Almighty is omnipresent. Can I make the same statement about air? Can I make the same statement about air, that air is invisible, yet omnipresent? Yes, of course, I can make the same statement about air as well. Air is invisible, yet omnipresent. We can't see air because air is intangible, but it's present everywhere. It's omnipresent. Can I make the same statement about water? Can I make the same statement about water? Can I say that water is invisible yet omnipresent? What do you people think about my third statement about water? What do you people think about water? Is water invisible and is water omnipresent? Is water present everywhere and is water invisible? My statement goes wrong here. If I'm making a statement like this, that water is invisible and omnipresent, I'm talking through my head. I'm talking nonsense. I know that my third statement is absolutely wrong, because water is visible and water is not omnipresent. Water is not ubiquitous. Water is not present everywhere. Now, if you talk about India, if I talk about my country, the country I come from, if I talk about India, India is a peninsula. Yes, you heard me correct. It is a peninsula. What exactly is a peninsula? A peninsula is a piece of land covered by water, all three sides, and land one side. And you heard me correct. I'm talking about India, and India is a peninsula. India is a piece of land covered by water, or three sides, and land one side. It is not an island. An island is a piece of land covered by water, all four sides. So my third statement goes wrong here. It's not right in my part to say water is invisible yet omnipresent, because water is visible and water is not omnipresent. Water is not present everywhere. Water is present in some places and water is not present in some places. Of course, in order to get access to water, we need to dig the land, we need to make holes, we need to dig deeper and deeper and deeper, then you get access to water. You definitely get access to water. So, hello. 15 minutes have gone by, all you people out there. 45 minutes more to go, as I made it very clear at the beginning of my session today that I've decided to go live for an hour. I've decided to go live for 16 minutes. Well, out of 16 minutes, 15 minutes have already gone by. All you people out there, what I'm waiting for, come and join a large number. Come and get connected with me in large number. Come and get connected with me live right away and learn to speak grammatically correct English. Learn to communicate grammatically correct English. Thank you very much. Good morning to you, to Salim. Thank you very much for joining me live today. Thank you very much. Hello, hello, hello. How are you people doing today? Good morning. Hello. Good afternoon. I'm sorry. Well, I don't think it's right on my part to say good morning. It's already 30 minutes past 2 o'clock. Yes, it's already 30 minutes past 2 o'clock. And it's been more than 7 minutes since I've come live. So good afternoon. Good afternoon to Rick Menchik of you. Good afternoon to one and all. Good afternoon to all and sundry. How are you people doing today? I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. What about you? What's your name and what's your appellation and where are you from? Come and join me live today. Get connected with me live today and answer the simple question of mine. Where are you from? Are you from Cattle? If you're from Cattle, where exactly are you from Cattle? What's your name or what's your appellation? Well, I'm using an advanced word here instead of name, and that is appellation. How do we spell the word appellation? Appellation. That's the correct spelling of the word appellation. And I can use this advanced vocabulary. I can use this appellation instead of name. What's your name? What's your appellation? Well, all you people out there, I want people to understand the most important thing about spoken English. Well, I want you people to make up your mind. I want you people to bear at this point in your mind. I want you people to understand this. I want you people to comprehend this. That it's not what is your name, it's what's your name. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? Or it could be, what's your appellation? 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 How do we spell the word appellation? Appellation. Appellation. What's your name? What's your appellation? I want you people, if you are listening to me with reputation of your all ears, I want people to answer the simple question of mine right away and get connected with me live and learn to speak grammatically correct English, for the next 40 minutes, because it's been more than 20 minutes since I've come live. 20 minutes have gone by and 40 minutes more to go. All you people out there for me to go stream. So what's your name? What's your appellation? Answer the simple question of mine. What's your name? What's your appellation? Remember, it's not what is your name. What is your appellation? No, it's what's your name? What's your appellation? What's your name? What's your appellation? What's your name? What's your appellation? Well, I'm talking about spoken English. Why do I talk about spoken English? I talk about spoken English because spoken English is my forte. Or I talk about spoken English because spoken English is my forte. Or I talk about spoken English because spoken English is my cup of tea. And I talk about spoken English because spoken English is my favorite subject. I keep telling people that English language has got two sides, like a 1 rupee coin, written English and spoken English. Written English is meant for writing English, and spoken English is meant for speaking English. English language has got two sides, like a 1 rupee coin. Written English and spoken English. I'm here to talk about spoken English. Have you all had your breakfast? Yes, sir. I have had my breakfast. No, sir, I haven't had my breakfast. I wanted people to pay close attention to the pronunciation here. It's not breakfast. It's breakfast, 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 breakfast. All the people out there, keep repeating after me. Keep uttering after me. Keep practicing after me. Remember, practice is the key to success. I keep telling my students that progress is not something, success is not something that can be pulled out of a hat. It requires a lot of hard work, and hard work alone is my watchword to my students, for my colleagues, for all you people out there. Hard work alone is my watchword. So keep practicing and keep outworking and keep progressing. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to one and all. Good afternoon to every man, Jake of you. Good afternoon to one and all. How are you people doing today? Hope everything is tickety-boo and hunky-dory with you. Is everything hunky-dory with you? Is everything tickety-boo with you? Well, I'm using two advanced expressions here. Tickety-boo and hunky-dory. What does tickety-boo mean and what does hunky-dory mean? Or what do hunky-dory and tickety-boo mean? Well, tickety-boo means in a good condition. Hunky-dory means in a good condition. Is everything in a good condition? Is everything hunky-dory with you? Is everything tickety-boo with you? 24 minutes have gone by. All you people out there, come and join me, large number. 24 minutes have gone by. What are people waiting for? Come and join me, large number. This is a very unprofessional spoken English trainer from Learn English with KMD, a platform where learning English and speaking English is made matches, or decided to go live for an hour. I've decided to go live for 16 minutes. I'm sorry. 24 minutes have gone by. All you people out there. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my domain. Welcome to Learn English with KMD, a platform where learning English and speaking English is made much easier. Good afternoon. Have you all had a breakfast? Yes, sir, I have had my breakfast. No, sir, I haven't had my breakfast. Have you had a breakfast? Yes, sir, I have had my breakfast. No, sir, I haven't had my breakfast. Have you had your lunch? Yes, sir, I have had my lunch. No, sir, I haven't had my lunch. Have you had your supper? Yes, sir, I have had my supper. No, sir, I haven't had my supper. Well, I'm talking about breakfast. I'm talking about lunch. I'm talking about supper. I keep telling my students time and again, I keep telling my students many times, I keep reiterating them that breakfast is the first meal of the day, and skipping breakfast is not a mistake, it's not a blunder, it's a Himalayan blunder. So never ever skip your breakfast, all the people out there. Good afternoon. Hello, hello, hello. How are you people doing today? I'm doing very well, thank you very much. What about you? Well, English language has got two sides like a 1 rupee coin, written English and spoken English. There are differences between written English and spoken English. Let's talk about those differences in today's live session. So the first difference when we talk about written English and spoken English is we find gaps in written English. But do we find gaps in spoken English? The answer is no, we don't find gaps in spoken English. There's no room for gaps in spoken English. There's no room for gaps in spoken English because we never use them. But we have room for gaps in written English because we use them. So the first difference I'm talking about is written English and spoken English. We find gaps in written English, but we don't find gaps in spoken English. There's no room for gaps. There's no room for gaps in spoken English. Moving on to the next difference, talking about the next difference. Capital letters. We use capital letters in written English, but we don't use capital letters in spoken English because there's no room for capital letters in spoken English. We never ever use them. Well, it's not necessary, it's not mandatory, it's not compulsory to use capital letters or small letters in spoken English. But when it comes to written English, using capital letters is mandatory. Using capital letters is sine qua non. Using capital letters is compulsory. Using capital letters is really very important. Using capital letters is impertinent. But when it comes to spoken English, it's not important. It's not sine qua non. It's not essential to use capital letters. We hardly use capital letters in spoken English. We hardly use gaps in spoken English, and we hardly use capital letters in spoken English because there's no room for gaps and there's no room for capital letters in spoken English. Moving on to the next difference, the third difference. Full stop, comma, inverted comma, colon, semicolon, hyphen, question mark. Well, I'm talking about punctuation marks here. Well, we use punctuation marks in written English. They're the heart and soul of written English. They are the be-all and end-all of written English. They are the alpha and omega of written English. But when it comes to spoken English, they're not important. Because we never use punctuation marks. We never use question marks or full stops or commas in spoken English. We never use them. We hardly use them. They're not the heart and soul of spoken English. Punctuation marks are not, the heart and soul of written English. They're not the be-all and end-all of written English. They're not the alpha and omega of written English. But punctuation marks are heart and soul of written English. They play a vital role when writing English. They play a crucial role when writing English. They play a significant role. They play a major role. They play a large role. They play an important role. They play a mammoth role. They play a crucial role in written English. But when it comes to spoken English, we hardly use them. So as far as spoken English is concerned, there's no room for gaps in spoken English. There's no room for capital letters in written English. Spoken English, I'm sorry. As far as spoken English is concerned, there's no room for gaps in spoken English. There's no room for capital letters in spoken English, and there's no room for punctuation marks in written English. Moving on to the next difference, the fourth difference. Well, I'm talking about written English and spoken English. And I'm trying to explain to you the differences between written English and spoken English. There are differences between written English and spoken English and so forth. We've discussed three of them. The first one is gaps. Where do we find gaps? We find gaps in written English, but we don't find gaps in spoken English. Second one is capital letters. Where do we find capital letters? We find capital letters in written English, but we don't find capital letters in spoken English. Third one is punctuation marks. We find punctuation marks in written English, but we don't find punctuation marks in spoken English. Fourth one is grammar. Yes, you heard me correct. Grammar. Grammar plays an important role in written English. But when it comes to spoken English, one can learn to speak English without having proper knowledge of grammar. Well, you need to practice. In order to become a fluent speaker of English language, you don't need grammar knowledge here. And if you have basic knowledge of grammar, that's more than enough. Basic knowledge of grammar will do. You don't have to be an aficionado of grammar. You don't have to be, perfect in grammar. You don't have to be a master of grammar. You don't have to be perfect in grammar to learn to speak English, because you are not going to teach anybody here. You don't need to know the basic things about grammar, basic rules and regulations about grammar. So if you have basic knowledge of grammar, that's more than enough, and you can learn to communicate in English. So the four differences: grammar plays an important role in written English, but when it comes to spoken English, grammar does not play an important role. So these are the differences between written English and spoken English. Spoken English, you need to kill the gaps. Spoken English, you need to avoid capital letters. Spoken English, you need to avoid punctuation marks. Spoken English, you need to avoid grammar. Now, if you avoid all those things, then you become a fluent speaker of English language. And the most important thing here when it comes to spoken English is practice. The more you speak, the more you understand. The more you speak, the more flexible your tongue becomes. The more you speak, the more confident you get. The more you speak, the more experienced you become. The more you speak, the more you learn. The more you speak, the more you explore. The more you speak, the more flexible, convenient your tongue becomes and language becomes. And you would be able to establish a very strong bond with spoken English. Hello, hello, hello. Well, 35 minutes have gone by. All you people out there, 15 minutes more to go for me to go off screen. Come and join my large number. What are people waiting for? 15 minutes more to go, because 35 minutes have gone by. Thank you very much. Come and join my large number. Hello, hello, hello. How are you people doing today? I'm doing very well, thank you very much. What about you? I'm doing very well, thank you very much. What about you? Have you all had your breakfast? Well, I'm talking about the first meal of the day. And, it's 15 minutes past 1 o'clock. Sorry, 15 minutes past 12 o'clock. 12:50. 15 minutes past 2 o'clock. Come and join me, large number, all you people out there. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. A very good afternoon. "37 minutes have gone by and 30 minutes more to go." Oops, I'm sorry. 37 minutes have gotten by and 23 minutes more to go. Well, I'm talking about the differences between written English and spoken English. So the first difference is gaps. We find gaps in written English, but we don't find gaps in spoken English. The second difference is capital letters. We find capital letters in written English, but not on spoken English. And the third difference is punctuation marks. We find punctuation marks in written English, but not on spoken English. And the fourth difference is grammar. Grammar plays a wide role, but one can learn to speak fluent English without having knowledge of grammar. Without having knowledge of basic grammar, all you got to do here is practice. The more you practice, the more you understand. The less you practice, the less you understand. Everything is in your hands. The ball is in your court. If you practice more, you learn more. If you practice less, you learn less. You'll have nobody to blame, because the ball is in your court. I want you people to spend an ample amount of time. I want you people to leave no stone unturned. I want you people to move heaven and earth. I want you people to try every trick in the book to become a fluent speaker of English language. I'm damn sure that you would become a fluent speaker of English language sooner or later if you follow my procedure, if you follow my instructions to the book. Yes, you heard me correct. If you follow my instructions to the book, you become a fluent speaker of English language sooner or later. If you follow my instructions completely, you become a fluent speaker of English language. Okay, hello. Well, it's been more than 40 minutes since I've come live. I made it very clear at the beginning of my live session today that I've decided to go live for 1 hour, but I have some of the commitments, so I have to end my live session here abruptly. Well, on that note, it's time for me to take you. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.